Yeah, collect my thoughts, my mind moves at warp speed. I often talk to myself about greed, why I smoke so much weed, and indeed, I love my freedom like my unborn
Guys, what is up?
seed.
Welcome
Normally,
to
I don't
another
believe
episode
I'm
of
like
Maximilian Must Know. Today we're going to take a look at the fragrances that I wore this week. I know that I said this week was going to be fragrances you could wear in every sort of dollar range for gourmands. We're going to do that next weekend. And this week we're going to actually talk about the fragrances that I wore this week, because I was actually looking at what I wore and I thought there were some interesting ones to go through. So let's just get right into it. So last Saturday I wore this guy from Fade On, and this one is called Rouge Avignon. Let me see if I can get that a little better. Sure. Rouge Avignon it's pretty close by Noir De Noir by Tom Ford. And obviously that's a fragrance that has these really nice notes in it. There's raspberry, there's rose, there's truffle, there's cocoa, there's lang-lang, there's hinoki wood. And I remember when I was going to get this one, I actually bought this one in Oswald when that was still a store before Josie worked there, and people like that were down there when it really just started up. I was really one of the first people to go down there and get some things. And I remember it was between this one. I wanted to get something from Fade On, and for me it was between this and their version of Tobacco Vanille, which I forget the name of that one. I think it's called Tobacco Rouge. I might be wrong on that. I just forget off the top of my head, but it was between one of those. I was going to get one of those fragrances. I liked them both. And I just went with this one. I think this is such a smooth fragrance. This is really something that like a dandy can wear, you know? The rose raspberry combo sort of reminds me of Portrait of a Lady. It's got that same sort of vibe, but then, the truffle in it and the cocoa, and the hinoki would take it in this like just very different, almost gourmand category. It's just really, really good. I either wanted Noir De Noir or this, and I went with this, and I like this better than, I've never bought Tobacco Vanille, and I like this. I like Noir De Noir better than Tobacco Vanille, and I like this better than Fade On's, their tobacco fragrance. So I think this is a wonderful scent. I don't know if it's still available, but it's really good. If you can find this for a good price, I would really recommend getting this one. So that was my Saturday scent. Sunday was sort of a, lounge at home sort of day. Sunday I usually cook dinner and wind up, also cooking it for my parents as well. And so I'm just chilling Sunday. It's always a day just to really relax. And so I find this such a relaxing, chilled out fragrance. I really love this one. It's from Guerlain. It's from the Herba Fresco. It's from the Aqua Allegoria collection. It's Herba Fresco. And if you like sort of green, fresh fragrances, this is the one for you, man. It's got lemon, mint, green tea. It's just really sort of calm and soothing, and really good performance on this one. The Aqua Allegoria line, that's one of the lines where I would like to try everything from that line. I love the fact that they release a bunch and then sort of, you can get some of them cheap and some of them they discontinue and some of them are really sought after. This one is pretty readily available, and for good reason. If you like herbal, really green, fresh scents, this is gonna do the job for you. I mean, performs well. I think the price, I paid like $40 for this. It's a must-have, I think, for spring and summer, and it's what I wore Sunday. So just simple Herba Fresco. Monday, to keep it in that sort of same vein, it was a little bit warm here, I think, on Monday in New York. And this is from the Nest Body and Soul Spray line. I remember when this line hit TJ Maxx, basically. If you don't know Nest, they do fragrances, they do candles. They were sold, I forget the name of the chain, but there's like a chain store in New York that sells fragrances. It's where I actually got tea for two. They sell candles. They have a very little fragrance collection. I can't believe I forget the name of the chain, but there's one on 57th and 1st, which is literally right down my block. Anyway, that's where like I've seen Nest mostly. And then so it was at TJ Maxx, and so they had all these Nest fragrances. They had one called Bamboo. They had Wasabi Pear. They had just I forget some of the other ones, but they were basically all there, and I wound up getting like 5. And this was one of the ones I got. Now, these are pretty sought after. The first one I got was Wasabi Pear, by the way. And then I put a bunch of people onto Wasabi Pear, and a bunch of people bought Wasabi Pear. It's a really great pear fragrance. But this was one that was there, and I got it, and I just love it. I think Carlos, RIP to the homie, Brooklyn Fragrance Lover. I haven't talked about that, but definitely, rest in peace to Carlos. I think he bought this one because I recommended it, but this is Nest Grapefruit. And I know that, they have Pampaloon. And to me, I've smelled Pampaloon. I've come very close to buying Pampaloon. I've gone through multiple decants of Pampaloon. This is very close to Pampaloon. Pampaloon now is probably easier to find and a little bit better. And cheaper now, but when I bought this, I think I paid like $15 for this, and this is a great grapefruit fragrance. I mean, it performs well. It's zesty, it's tart, it's not too sweet, it's not too feminine. It really, the way the orange sanguine is so orange-like, this is so grapefruit-like. It's great. If you can find any of these Nest fragrances, and again, I have like 5 of them, I really recommend you get any one you can. They're so good, they're so realistic, and they were so cheap for a time. And that's why TJ Maxx, I haven't been to my TJ Maxx for a while. There's 2 reasons really. One, they started locking all their fragrances up, so you couldn't even go through like the shitty amalgamation on the shelf of all kinds of weirdness. Everything was locked up. And then secondly, obviously COVID, but I got to take a trip there and at least look, because I can't tell you how many gems I've pulled off the shelves of the TJ Maxx near where I live. Obviously, there's a lot of shit there as well, and it's very hit or miss. But I've seen I've seen Bond, Creed, just crazy shit there. So that's what I wore on Monday. This Nest Grapefruit. Tuesday, I wore this one. This is from Odory. This one's called Glade. GLI, Odory Glee, and Odory's best known for their tobacco fragrance. The people at Odory went on to do Bois 1920, and this fragrance I got online, 95% used. I blind bought it, and what a revelation it is. This is one of the best herbal fragrances I've ever smelled in my life. If this is like the safe sort of herbal fragrance, this is the very rich. This is like the G.G. Allen of herbal fragrances. You've got rosemary, celery seed, bay leaf, tarragon, nutmeg, carrot in this one. It's crazy. It's just really like, okay, so if you like Bois d'Orage, French Lover by Frederic Malle, imagine that Bois d'Orage took steroids and went to juvie and came out really fucking gully. That's what Glee Odory is. It's like a steroided French Lover by Frederic Malle. It's really green. It's really like herbal. It's like, it sort of smells like a fucking green soup. But I mean that in a good way. Like, it's masculine. I feel like there's cumin in this one. If you sort of like, there's a little bit of a BO thing going on, which I really like. It's just really good. And I think the bottles are gorgeous for this house. See how they're sort of assembled there with the joints. But that was my Tuesday scent. Now Wednesday, I actually went with, that's my day, where I sort of go through samples, and I'm on a Chanel kick. And so I wore Vintage Antaeus on Wednesday, and I was thinking about getting a bottle of Vintage Antaeus, and I did like it. Myrrh, there's clary sage in it, there's castoreum, there's oak moss, there's patchouli, but it's a good scent. It really is. It often is sort of compared to Koros as like that, early sort of 80s designer men's fragrance that a lot of people say oh, Koros and Antaeus were like big gay fragrances, gay guys back then just really loved those two. Regardless, I think that's what Luca Turin has said. I much prefer Koros, and I just feel like if I'm gonna get an older or vintage style or just an older designer fragrance, I like more aromatic ones Eau Sauvage and, Koros, which obviously really isn't an aromatic, but I like Antaeus, I just don't love it enough to, I think, get a vintage bottle. Like, I think if I saw one for a good deal, or if I had endless supply of money, I'd get one, or I'd get the newer one, but I don't really love it that much. I was kind of disappointed by it, to be honest with you. I remember smelling it in store, and really enjoying it, and having it on my to-buy list, but it's not something I don't think I want to buy anymore, if I'm being honest with you guys. So then Thursday, I wore this one, and this one is one that I fucking love. I think this is such a great fragrance. This is Fleur De Mal. I'll show you the whole bottle, by Jean-Paul Gaultier. This is one of the, let me see if I can, this is one of the, the flankers that doesn't smell like all the others. It's not commercial. It's not like sort of bubblegummy. It's not a fragrance for teenage boys. It's like, how did this get signed off? Who said okay to this one? It's still got that minty sort of vanilla-y thing. Actually, I don't want to say minty. I'm just going to say vanilla-y thing, but it's like just assaulted by like petitgrain and neroli and orange blossom and this herbal chamomile, and it's just, I'm going to smell it now. It's bizarre, but in a good way, and that's why I think it's going for like, hundreds of dollars now, because it's discontinued, and it's like nothing Gaultier's ever produced before. I have a few Gaultier fragrances. I have the original Le Mal, which was a banger. I wore it when it came out. And I have Ultra Mal. I think that might be it. Well, I have some other Gaultiers, but not like other Le Mal flankers, and this is my favorite, and I'm actually starting to appreciate this more than Le Mal. It's just different. It's daring. I don't think you'll see I don't think a designer would make a fragrance like this in 2021. Could be wrong, but if you like vanilla and orange blossom and not citrus but citrus flowers, then I think you'll really enjoy this one. This is a great fragrance. If you see this, you should get this if you can find a good price for it. And then finally on Friday, which is today, I'm filming this on Friday, it'll probably be a Saturday, I wore this, and this is from Dua. I always get a Dua fragrance in for the week. I'm a big fan of theirs if you haven't figured that out at this point, and there's no sponsorship or anything like that on this channel. I just enjoy the fragrances they've picked to revive, clone or smash together in hybrids and tribrids. And this is Abstract Elixir. And this is their version, and this is why I love them. They do fragrances like this, that's why people are like, oh, they just buy oils and da-da-da-da. Yeah, no, that's certainly not the case, but whatever. This is their version of Masque Milano Latessa. And I don't think 90% of the world knows what Masque Milano Latessa is, but that's a fragrance that I came very close to buying. I still might actually buy it, even though I have this. But what Latessa is, it's really primarily an iris fragrance. It's a great iris fragrance, but there's much more going on in this one. There's bergamot, there's like a citrus at the top. There's this fizzy champagne accord that I feel like might come from some sort of aldehydic accord. And then you've got tuberose in this one. It's just really, really, really good. And I do sort of wonder how a house like this is able to do such wonderful iris fragrances, because iris fragrances are kind of hard to do and usually costly, but they nailed this one. As I said, I have a pretty nice size actually I have a few samples of Latessa, and this is dead on to Latessa. So Latessa is not super expensive, so if you're looking at both, I would just decide which one you want. You might be able to just grab Latessa and be cool and call it a day, but this is a great iris fragrance, really, really, really good. And so this is what I wore today, and it's really sort of been spring-like. It's a little chilly today, but I feel like spring is just such great for iris fragrances and fragrances like this. So again, let's just go through them real quick. Saturday, I did Rouge à Mignon by Fade On. Sunday, I did Herba Fresco by Guerlain. Monday, I did Grapefruit by Nest Body and Soul Collection. Tuesday, I did Odori, Gli Odori Wednesday, I did an Antaeus vintage sample. Thursday, I did Fleur De Mal. And today, Friday, I did Abstract Elixir by Dua. So that's it, guys. Next week, we're going to go over some gourmand fragrances that you should be able to pull off at any price range, because again, you don't have to spend a lot of money to smell like you have a lot of money. See you guys again real soon. You know what it is. My name obviously is
mayonnaise spread across the bread like boar's head. The rays of daylight bathing in my haven. I force fed my brethren like brave men. Breath in isometric condition to keep me nice. Now listen, I'm the beneficent. Traveled the whole damn distance for